Hi and welcome to another video from Dale Farm where it's been mostly wet. However, we have had occasional bits of dry and I took the opportunity to bring the ewes in, mainly to look at any that were lame. So treated those and just kind of gave them all a general look over. That's the tup. He's looking quite well, which is good. And then I left the ewes standing on the yard. I can't believe the sun came out. I think it came out for about an hour or so, which was really nice because we haven't had much sun. So left them standing on the yard for a little while and then returned them to the field.
And then we could stand here and watch all the ones that be lame then. Yeah, the ones that sleep right, aren't they?
We've still got the ewes in two separate groups. This is a slightly larger group and it's mostly the ewes that we brought in. And then this is the other group, so definitely a few lame ones in this group, including Vlad, who's the other tup. So they came down really well, they're very good. And then we also noticed that Doris had got cloudy eyes. So I've always called it like snow blindness, whether it's caused by the wind or what, but it needs treating. So same system again, get them all down through the race and look at any lame ones. And then Doris, we've got some eye ointment for her eye and she's going to stay in for a few days so that we can apply the ointment. So this is the following day. I decided to set about cleaning the yard up. It's a job that I've been meaning to do, and then after we had them in, it looked even worse. So I set about giving it a good brush down. It's quite a satisfying job. So I quite enjoyed that. A bit of physical activity as well. Satisfied with how the yard's turned out, and I'm sure it's going to rain, so the rain will help wash it all off and just leaves the area looking a bit more organised. Yeah. And then back to Doris. She's quite agitated. She doesn't like being inside and she's very awkward to give the eye ointment to, but it was definitely affecting her sight. So hopefully the use of this cream will help. Then I went down to check on the Highlands. Not much left in this feeder, mainly just stalks. And so sort of kicked all the haylage around and went back up to the farm to get my full waterproofs on so that we could get on with feeding. So on the tractor and off we go down to where the Highland cattle are. We've got the bale heap in the same field as the Highlands. And yeah, we've had relentless rain pretty much. So everywhere is very wet and muddy. It doesn't seem to bother the cows that much. You can see black grouse having fun with the new bales. Black grouse is just tossing lots of hay seeds in my face, which should have worn sunglasses. The mud situation down here is really bad. This is where the bale heap is and it's just, it's just a complete nightmare. I mean, probably need to create a stone track, but obviously all of these things cost money and we have to kind of put the resources in where we can and when we can, and we can't afford to put stone tracks down everywhere that we need to drive. So it'll dry out eventually. It's just a mess and it's not very nice to work in. So we're bringing bales back up to the farm and we're going to store them in the farmyard, and then we will use those to take up to the highlands that we've got on the moor. So they'll need their hay in a couple of days' time. And now is the arrival of a storm, some strong wind and more rain. So as soon as it came light enough, I went up to check on the highlands on the moor. Always a bit worried about them because of where they are in the trees. I got my hat pegged on and the cows seem fine, but there is a big tree down and that is completely blocking the path that we used to take them to the water. So we're going to have to come back with a chainsaw and get rid of that. So not very nice conditions at all. The IBC seems to have blown away as well, and that needs refilling. And then this is the view down. You can just perhaps see the wind blowing the rain across, and the sheep in the most shelter position they can find, which is underneath the wall. But yeah, a rough old day in the Peak District for sure. And certainly not really very nice to be out. Definitely not a fan of the wild, windy weather. It doesn't look like the sheep are keen either. They're just taking shelter, but they look fine otherwise. And this is why I wasn't talking to the camera, because it was just a total waste of time given the weather that we've had. The little lamb group, the ones that we didn't sell, they are getting topped up with a few nuts and they seem all right. Fed them in a sheltered corner. And then this group of ewes are ready for a new bale, so Nick helped me to drop them a bale in, and we decided to put the net over it just to stop the hay from blowing away mainly, and it does work, helps prevent a bit of wastage, and particularly in the strong wind, if the sheep start pulling at it, pieces could be flying off, I would have thought. So with the livestock fed and checked, Nick and I can get on with chopping down the tree that's blocking the path. So we head up onto the moor, and Nick's battery chainsaw comes in handy, and lots of smaller pieces for me to pick up and clear away. Obviously none of it will get wasted, we can use it as firewood. And then with the tree cleared and as many logs as we can fit into the back of the truck, we can then come back and top up the cows' water. And then back down at the farm, surveying the damage on the lane, which is a fairly decent gap that's blown down. So just moving the stone out of the way and clearing the debris from the lane. Always a job to do. Good morning. It seems to be whatever we had yesterday again today, except for maybe with more rain. Yet another wet and windy day, so heading up the lane, and the best way is just to get your head down. And yep, situation very soggy and miserable in the fields, not really very fun at all. But the livestock are faring okay, and I've just pulled all the hay around to make sure that they can get to the bit in the middle. Back up on the moor where the Highland cattle are, it's pretty wet and they are finishing up the hay. There was just a little bit in the middle they couldn't reach, so I moved it about. Then they can enjoy that, and then I head back down to the farm and tell Nick that he's required to come and help me drop some bales in for those. And then time to go and clean the campsite facilities because, believe it or not, we are open. Doris looking quite a bit better, so that's good. And yeah, another wet start to the day. The sheep fields are looking really bad now. But not really much I can do about it. Just keep them well fed and they'll be ready for a move soon. That's all I can do. This is more wind damage, so trees moved in the wind and brought the wall down. We've also had a couple of trees down or leaning. And in the afternoon went down to check on the cows down in the village, and another wet and miserable afternoon, and the land down here is really taking a hammering, so it's not very fun at all. I don't think I've ever seen it any worse than this, to be quite honest with you. Sheep again, and the ones at the top needed a new bale and a new tub, so dropped them off a tub and Nick helped me put them a fresh bale in. So that really summarises what we've been getting up to, just battling the weather really, and looking forward to hopefully some better days and things starting to brighten up and improve a bit. But for now, we're muddy and grey, and see you all next time.